It's another episode that you happen to meet again. I want to say thank you for your eyeballs to always clicking in and viewing my channel, or always being there to support me through viewing my content and giving me a like, subscribing, and as always giving me what we call a compliment or a comment down below. So today it's another moment that you get to meet each other and get to talk about what is finance and what is marriage and how can the two mix up and how can one utilize both two things so that you can have a successful of either. If you're after marriage, how can you have a successful marriage in respect to finance, and how can you have a successful financial journey in respect to the marriage? All right. So today we're going to look at what exactly is supposed to be done when it comes to finance as far as the marriage is concerned. All right. So number one, they're supposed to understand is that finance is a very essential tool. It's a very essential complement or rather complementing factor when it comes to marriage. You cannot rule out finance when it comes to marriage. Number two, what you're supposed to understand is that sometimes there is this question that crops up like every time: is it our money or is it my money? All right. So that question is being asked in most cases in the marriages or in houses where people find themselves in what we call a conflicting factor, that they get to understand that some say that your money is ours but my money is my money. You see that argument, its foundation is found on what we call the selfishness. Okay. You have to understand exactly what it means to complement each other financially. All right. For instance, from our African perspective and African view is that a man should provide for the family. You should go out there, work yourself, make sure that you provide for your family, stretching from what we call the finance for protection and anything and everything. You should also provide what we call the vision. So the question is this: the man provides for the family, and the wife, complements that. What do I mean by that point is that the man builds the house and the wife brings up the home. All right, there's a difference between having a house and having a home. Making a house is quite that simple. You need to get money, if you contract an engineer, and there you go. But when to have a home, you need to have a sober mind. You need to have what we call a sober wife, so that you can have what we call a home. What you're supposed to understand is that finance, it is essential, it is important, but it's not solely the main factor that you need to have as far as the marriage is concerned. All right, it's essential. I mean, seriously, you need to have furnitures in your house. You need to have a television. You need to have, a bed. You need to have utensils and such kind of way. You also need to have food. Basically, that means you need to have money. All right, it is not a main factor, but it's a very essential and a vital factor that you need to have as far as the marriage is concerned. So finance, you need to have what I advise people to do is sit down with your partner, irrespective the gender or whatever. Sit down with your partner, talk about what you're supposed to do. It's always good to have what we call a stipulated or structured vision, how you're supposed to use your money. What I mean by this point is that respect the fact that, or despite the fact that you guys came on board as two individuals, two different individuals with different visions. Maybe I'm the husband of the house, or if I'm the husband of the house, I'm an engineer and the wife is a doctor. You people belongs to two different fields, all right? So you have two different interests. That's a fact number one you are supposed to understand. But the factor number two, you also have something in common. That is the marriage. Maybe you guys you have kid or kids. You have to understand that now you have something in common, irrespective of you having two different ways, all right, or rather visions. So what you're supposed to understand when it comes to finance in the marriage, you're supposed to be together, sit down, structure out how you're supposed to utilize your money, structure out on how much you want to invest on what and when. All right. See, when you do that, it means that both of you are sailing. Assuming, for example, I take this an example of a canoe. No, not really a canoe, but a raft. You see, a raft, you need to both of you for you to sail with the raft, and both of you need to do something at the same time and do the same thing commonly. All right. What I mean is that if one is sailing from the steering the raft from one end and the other is steering the raft from the other end, you need to do so complementarily so that that raft can be able to move progressively from one place to the other. But when does the opposite, the one action of the other is cancelled by the action of the other. So at the end of the day, you find yourself rotating. You find yourself that you're basically moving on a circle. You're not even making a progress. When I call my money, and you call your money. So it makes you people move on a sort of a circular way. You're not even progressing. You're not making any progress. What I mean is that You find that it's okay, you guys, you're feeding, you have a house, maybe you're renting, your kids are schooling, but what we call life is more than that. You find you're not even making a step. You don't even sit down to discuss and agree that this is the area that you want us to invest on. And sometimes I tell men is that this person that you brought on board in your life, you call the wife, should help you. So meaning that you're supposed to be doing something for you to be helped. All right. If she says that she's gonna chip in something little on top of whatever you want to invest on, come on, buy the idea, bring her on board. She got ideas, and you keep on sailing. That's the time you know that you guys, you're sailing the raft on complementarily at the same time, so that you can make a progress moving from one point to the you find that right. So the next one, we have these cases of what we call the single parenthood. All right, you find that one person is playing the role of the two. That is, you the father and you the mother. So these are exemptive cases where you find that you're supposed to play the role of both parties. It is doable. People have been brought up in such an occasion or such a scenario, and the kids grow up and become a very wonderful and successful people in the society. This can be due to divorce or some cases due to death, right? So you find that when you find yourself in such a situation that you have to play the both roles, you have to understand, what does the father does or what does the husband does, you do it. What does the mother do, you do it, because you are there. If in the case of a single motherhood, if you are the father, you have to understand what does the mother does. All right, of course you cannot suckle you cannot breastfeed your kid, obviously that is obvious there. But what I mean by you identifying what a mother should do is that what happens is that most of the kids' characters comes from their mothers, right? I'm not saying it like entirely, but you are supposed to instill that thing to your kids when it comes to finance. So what you're supposed to do when you live alone or when you're a single parent, you're supposed to understand that this is the money I have, and I've got nobody else I'm looking after. So it's all about me. It's the money I have, it's the only one I have. So you have to understand, what am I supposed to do with this money? I put it somewhere, I invest it somewhere for the sake of my life and as well as of the kids and also those people who surrounds me. Because we cannot assume, or rather we cannot rub away that we don't come from a place. We usually come from a place. We got the families, we got the siblings who need help in one way or the other. So except that case of single parenthood, you are supposed to always come back together as a party, agreeing on where you're supposed to invest the money. If you guys want to invest, let's say in in a boutique, if you want to invest money in cryptocurrency, if you guys want to invest money in forexing, if you want to invest money, I mean, it's always good to sit down in a harmonious way. You discuss where you want to invest your money and agree on that, and you switch that. Because I mean, seriously, if you guys pull from each side, at the end of the day you won't have what we call a successful marriage with a successful money, or what we call the financial freedom. That is very, very, very essential when it comes to marriage. All right. My name is Joseph. I talk about finance. I talk about what we call the financial development. How can we take ourselves from the level we are to the next level? And I'm always open. Share your mind. You don't have sometimes to agree with me. You can always object and suggest anything that you would love to hear in this channel. All right. If you love that kind of content, always come on board, subscribe to my channel, so that the YouTube can be the first one to be notified by the YouTube when I upload a new video. Comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, and if you don't like it, just do nothing. See you in the next one.